All right, we're back. This is Rage in a Cage with BamBam and Schwaggs. I'm Frank BamBam Horak. He's Mikey Schwaggs. We were talking about the UFC on Fuel. It was a great night of fights.
Yes, it was.
We discussed the majority of them. Now let's get to
Most
the
of
two
them.
main ones.
Two main ones. Big heavyweight matchup. Stefan the Skyscraper Struve versus Dave Pee Wee Herman. And it was a pretty good match. It was a back and forth match.
We thought it was gonna. We said it had fight of the night potential.
Yes.
I had Struve, you had Herman, but we're not gonna get into that. But yeah, it was a good fight. Struve, though, again, like I said, he's only 23 years old, but that was his 10th UFC fight. He has the experience, and he keeps getting better and better. He was when he first came into the UFC, he was like 6'11", high 220s, and he was a submission guy.
Yeah, he had no stand-up.
Now he's obviously not growing. He's still 6'11", but now he came in 256 now. He's really coming into his frame. He's just going to get bigger, and his striking continues to improve.
He looked great striking last night, and I will give him that. He really did. I thought that was going to be the key to the fight with Herman, and I thought Herman was going to be able to outstrike him. And he was for the first round.
I would give a little slow in the first round. It was a little sluggish.
And I saw a little article about Struve saying that jet lag was what caused that first round. But we won't get into that. But Herman, he landed the more strikes in the fight. He landed 39 to Struve's like 14. But when Struve got the fight to the ground, that's where he controlled the fight. And
absolutely, that's where he's comfortable.
He got the mount, and he took Herman out.
He just continues to get better and better. I mean, I heard a thing he's turning 24 on Saturday. The sky's the limit, though, in my opinion, with him.
The sky's the limit for the skyscraper.
Absolutely. He continues to get better. He continues to fill into that frame. He's now his next fight, I'm sure he'll be a little bit bigger. I'm sure his striking will be a little bit better. He's already got the nasty submissions, and he continues to get better. And Herman was a good test for him because Herman was.
He really was.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Coming off a big victory.
Coming off in a very impressive victory, yeah. Which Struve just looked better. He just continues to improve.
His striking really was good last night, and it really impressed me. I didn't think he was going to have that good of striking, honestly.
He said it best after the fight. He said he can still get 10 times better. He's still got to learn to use his jab more.
That's what
He's got that huge reach advantage, and he wasn't using it at all. So he still continues to get better, and he's going to be good. I like to see him now take a big. In my opinion, like I said, I'm high on Struve, so I like to see him take.
You are high on him. You like this guy.
I think he's going to be good. So I like to see him take a big step up. I like to see like a Czech Congo.
Oh my goodness, Frank! We actually agree on someone. That's who I was going to go with too. I thought Congo was a great matchup for Struve.
I think that fight makes a lot of sense. Another one, if you want to throw out there's been a lot of rumors that he's coming to the UFC, but he hasn't had an opponent yet. Just Bigfoot Silva. Just have two huge guys.
That would be a pretty interesting match too.
That wouldn't be a bad matchup either. But a guy on the top of on the borderline of a top tier.
Well, yeah, Congo just came off a victory over Mitrione. Yeah, he's a pretty big victory.
Also coming off another win against Barry after losing a couple of fights. So yeah, Congo. He's starting to climb up that ladder. Struve's on that ladder. That makes sense that they would fight each other.
I would like to see that fight, actually. I think that would be a really good fight. That
makes sense. Or like I said, you just the Bigfoot, just because they're so both huge. But even though that wouldn't be a bad fight, though, either, I don't think. I think that would be pretty good also.
Not at all.
The fight that makes more sense to me, though, is the Czech Congo.
Yeah, I would agree. That makes more sense. Yeah. Let's get into the main event now.
We thought it was going to be good, and it certainly was.
It certainly lived up to all expectations.
Like we said before on the last segment, though, why it was a main event fight. It should have been 5 rounds.
Yes, we talked about it.
I don't understand. Some are 5 rounds, some aren't.
And I want to get into this now too because
it should have been 5 rounds.
If that was a 5-round fight, that could have competed for fight of the year.
And the outcome could have been differently too. I personally I think Ellenberger still would have won.
I don't know.
But yeah,
you just don't know.
Diego turned it on at the end. There's no question about it. And like we said when we were previewing this fight, Diego Sanchez is never in a boring fight. We both had Ellenberger winning the fight. We both thought Ellenberger was going to be was the better fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But we also thought it wasn't going to be a dominating performance.
No,
it was going
not by
most
long
likely
shot.
It was going to go the distance, and it was going to be an exciting fight, and that's exactly what it was.
Yep. Ellenberger he really handled Diego Sanchez on the stand-up in the first 2 rounds.
He did.
And Diego wasn't really able to do anything. Diego's always at his best when he's stalking his opponent and he's pushing them back to the cage. And he wasn't doing that in the first 2 rounds. Ellenberger was chasing him down. But then in that 3rd round, Diego got back to Diego Sanchez.
Well, with Diego, he started figuring out Ellenberger's game a little bit and was able to exploit it a little bit. I mean, listen, Ellenberger, in my opinion, is one of the best well-rounded fighters. He's got the wrestling, great chin, great striker. And it's gonna Diego took some time for him to figure it out, but in that third round, he certainly started picking his shots, figured them out, and then started dominating a little bit on that. I mean, at the end of the fight, Ellenberger was able to get it back up on the feet. But again, like I said, I would have much rather have seen that fight go 2 more rounds to see what happened.
He punished Ellenberger in that third round.
It wasn't landing no huge shots.
Oh, come on, did you see Ellenberger's face?
It wasn't that bad. It was mostly a lot of the side.
Come on, his nose was all cut up. He was catching him with some very good shots.
He landed some shots, but I don't think Ellenberger was some big danger.
He wasn't in any. I'm not saying he was in danger, but he definitely caught him with some good shots.
Yeah, no question about it. But as it was a 3-round fight, so there was no question Ellenberger won.
Yeah, he won the first 2 rounds. Gave Diego the third round.
Yeah, absolutely give Diego. 29-28, Ellenberger wins that fight. Well, again, like they've seen it go another couple of rounds.
I just think it would have been a great fight.
Now, Ellenberger, in my opinion, should be fighting against Contender. But
I don't think you give him a title shot.
Well, it all depends. If GSP it doesn't come back as quick as they want to give Contender a fight, who else are you going to give it to? You got to give it to Ellenberger. It makes there's nobody else more deserving than Ellenberger. If GSP is going to be healthy and he's going to fight, then that should be who Connor's fighting, obviously. But if GSP, because as they were talking about, it was going to be Conor Diaz again, because maybe GSP is taking a little bit more time. If that's the case, then I would like to see Ellenberger Condit too, because their first fight was a great fight.
Close
Condit
fight.
won with split decision. It could have easily went the other way. It was a great fight. So I would definitely like to see a rematch of that. Again, assuming GSP, if indeed GSP is able to come back, then the fight that makes the most sense, then Ellenberger then should fight the winner of Hendricks Koscheck.
That's what I was going to say. The timetable for GSP to return is somewhere around November. So you got Koscheck Hendricks fighting in May. So pending on how long it takes for them to recover from their fight and Ellenberger to recover, we could possibly see maybe a title shot in the summer, around August, July.
Yeah.
I don't think Ellenberger should get the title shot. It wasn't an impressive victory enough to give him the title shot.
I mean, listen, he beat Diego Sanchez. Isn't like he's just some.
I'm not saying he's not a nobody, but he's not at the top of that welterweight division by any shot. Diego Sanchez, he's not. Let's be realistic now.
Again, you just said if it was another 2 rounds, Diego Sanchez, you thought was going to win that fight. So then what would you say? I think Diego's right up there. You have to put him up there.
No, he's up there, but I just don't think he's warranting a title shot from beating him.
I have to disagree with you. I think Ellenberger definitely, because when you look at that division, there's nobody else more deserving than Ellenberger right now. I mean, again, if GSP then is going to come back and you're not going to have Ellenberger Condit, then he should fight the winner of Hendricks Koscheck.
That's what I'd like to see.
Well, it should be interesting to see what happens. It'll also be interesting just for argument's sake, if Koscheck beats Hendricks and then beats Ellenberger and GSP beats Condit, I mean, Dana White's already said that he doesn't want a Koscheck GSP 3. What's he going to do then at that? I mean, that's a lot of what ifs.
Well, that's Dana White's problem. That's not my problem.
We'll see what happens. But I think Ellenberger's deserving of a title shot, no question about it.
You could argue he's definitely deserving. He's been on a tear. He's on a 5-5 win streak. It's definitely deserving. I just think I'd like to see one more fight.
All right, well, who would you like to see Diego fight then next?
Diego? I'd like to see him maybe take on the winner of Campman Alves.
Could see that, and I wouldn't mind seeing another
rematch between him and Campman.
Sanchez and Campman. If Campman winning, Alves against Diego would be good.
Yeah.
Even the winner of Shields.
That was another one that I had him on too.
He wouldn't be a terrible fight. Even Rick Story, Diego.
That would be a good one too.
So there's a lot of
options out
Diego.
there. But the welterweight's a pretty deep division too. It's not like there's not a lot of fighters in there.
Pretty much when you look at every division now, it's just so deep.
Yeah, it's true. They keep adding more and more fighters.
And more high-level fighters. It's just making it great. All right, so it was a great night of fights, no question about it.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So we'll see now. Next time we're going to be talking about another great fight card.
Are you kidding me?
Edgar Henderson,
what are you
Japan.
forgetting? You're forgetting something, Frank.
Am I forgetting something? What am I forgetting?
Pretender Contender.
Oh, my goodness. My favorite segment. How am I forgetting Pretender Contender?
How do you forget Pretender Contender?
Unbelievable. Hit me with some Pretender Contender.
I'm going to hit you in the face.
Oh, that'd be a mistake on your part. But let's
okay.
Let's hit me with some Pretender Contender.
Oh, first one. Jonathan Brookins. Pretender Contender, Frank.
Well, he certainly was impressive. Coming on, like you said, after he won the UFC Ultimate Fighter. Lost to Eric Koch, who's a high-level guy. Certainly rebounded nicely. like we said, now we wanted, but we both agreed that he should take a step up in competition. Had a different opponent for him, but regardless, a step up in competition. But at the time being, I have to go Pretender for Jonathan Brookins. I need to see another win for him before I can start talking about Contender.
I'm gonna put him as a Contender for now. You know, he won the Ultimate Fighter. He's been improving since then, and I think with another victory, he'll be a force to be reckoned with in that featherweight division.
All right.
I know you love saying that.
Oh yeah. I'm going to go Pretender for the time being, but
that's fun.
We shall see. That featherweight division is also another stacked division.
Yes, it is.
All right, hit me with another one.
We'll go right away with Ivan Menjivar.
He's got, like I said, I want to see him fight Dillashaw. I think the winner of that moves right into Contender. So I'll put Contender, because you look at that bantamweight division, not as stacked because a lot of those guys now move into the flyweight division. So there's definitely some openings there. So I would like to see Ivan Menjivar and TJ Dillashaw. I think the winner of that moves up into Contender status. So I'll say though Contender for now.
I got him as a Pretender for now. I'd like to see him win 1 or 2 more fights. If he does it the way he won his last fight, then yeah, he's definitely a Contender. Like you said, that bantamweight division, there's not as many fighters in that one because they're all moving down to flyweight now that they can. So yeah, he's a Pretender for now. Contender, possibly in the future. TJ Dillashaw, like you said, you have him as a Contender?
I'm high on Dillashaw. I see him as a Contender again. I'd like to see him fight Menjivar. But I think both of those guys are solid in that bantamweight division. I'll put him as a Contender.
I got Dillashaw as a Contender as well. He's got a great camp, Team Alpha Male. Trains with Uriah Faber, Joseph Benavidez. He's a Contender. He's going to be one to watch out for in that bantamweight division.
Yeah, no question about it.
Let's get to Stipe Miocic.
Well, like I said,
I know you like this guy.
I do like.
You're very high on him.
I am. I like this guy. I can't put him as a Contender just yet. I want to see him, like I said, I would like to see him fight like a Roy Nelson or a Brendan Schaub type for his next fight. Take a step up in competition. Then maybe we could start talking about Contender. When you look at that heavyweight division, though, there's no way. Yeah, it's stacked. And after beating again, I don't know, he beat an undefeated guy in the freeze,
but he's not faced
exactly. He hasn't
any
faced top competition yet, so I have to go Pretender for the time being.
I'll agree.
But there's definitely room for improvement, and we could be talking a couple of months down the road. We can definitely be talking about him as a Contender. But as of right now, Pretender.
Yep, I'll agree. I'll put him as a Pretender for now, but he could be a Contender in the future. We'll go Aaron Simpson, Pretender, Contender?
Aaron Simpson, he's like a middle of the pack type of a guy. When you see him, he's fought Chris Lieben, Mark Munoz. He's come out on the losing end. Now he's lost to Ronnie Markey's making his UFC debut. So I have to go Pretender for Aaron Simpson.
Definitely,
he's a solid fighter, and there's no question about it with the great wrestling and whatnot.
Gatekeeper?
But he's a gatekeeper type.
Gatekeeper of the middleweight division?
He's certainly a gatekeeper, yes.
All right, Ronnie Marks, his opponent.
Ronnie Marks, well, listen, his first fight at the middleweight, I can't put him as a Contender when you talk about another stacked division. But as I said, I like to see him now take another step up. And we'll see. But as of right now, definitely Pretender for him.
It's only one fight.
To no fault of his own. Again, it's his middleweight debut.
It's just one fight.
So, yeah, it has to
see a couple more fights.
Yeah, he needs at least a couple more, no question.
Before we put him in that Contender status.
Yeah.
Stefan Struve, Frank.
Well, I've been high on Struve.
Yes, you have been.
I think he's good. I think he's going to continue to get better. I mean, you've seen he's been, though. I mean, when he's fought Roy Nelson, he got knocked out. Travis Browning was able to knock him out. But again, the kid, he's 23 years old. He's going to continue to get better, continue to fill into that frame. I like to see him now, like I said, take a big step up, fight Chet Congo. I'm going to go Contender, though. I think he's got potential in that. He's got great submissions, and now his striking's continue to get better. I'm going to go Contender for Stefan Struve.
Oh, that's pretty bold to say in that heavyweight division.
So, yeah. Listen, if he say we're accurate with calling the next fight, and he fights Congo and he beats Congo, then obviously, I mean, you're not talking title shot, but you're talking he's moving back into that tier 1 type of a class. So I'm going Contender for Stefan Struve.
I don't have him as a Contender yet. Like you said, he's still young. He's still trying to fill into that 6'11" frame. Still trying to find his own way of fighting. He will be a Contender. He's young.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a Contender now, though. He's got to win a couple of more big, high-level fights before I put him as a Contender.
All right. Agree to disagree.
Okay.
Let's go.
Fine.
Hit me with another one.
Diego Sanchez, Frank. Contender, Pretender.
You look at that welterweight division. Listen, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, as they say, but we've been talking about it. You all right over there? All right. Diego Sanchez. I'm going to go Contender just because if that was a 5-round fight, I still think Ellenberger would have won. You said maybe Diego could have won. I'm going to go, though, Contender because he's always in these fights. And, it's going to obviously he's down on the bottom, but I can see him being a contender.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think he's a contender for now in that division.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's still, fairly young. He can still, he can stay dedicated because, he went off a little bit. He even admitted with drinking and all that other stuff. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to finish up Pretender Contender.